All right, the 4 worst things to put in your coffee.
Number 1 is going to be cow milk or cream. It's estimated that 75% of adults do not have the ability to break down cow dairy, which can be causing inflammation in your body.
We know that one part of that is true. A lot of people are very often lactose intolerant. We have research to suggest that those who are not lactose intolerant are also not creating those inflammatory markers. In fact, unless you are allergic to cow's milk, you should not be worrying about inflammatory markers. Let's see what number 2, 3, and 4 are.
Number 2 is milk protein isolates, like whey protein. This is a processed protein that can create...
Yes, it's processed. The process to which it goes through is boiling down the milk, straining out all the protein, and you're left with the powder eventually, which is protein powder. It's just a boiling and straining process. Perfectly healthy for you. The processing is nothing to be scared of.
a high insulin response in many people.
Create a high insulin response in people. Insulin responses are normal. You want insulin responses to food, otherwise your blood sugar will rise. Your blood sugar rises without an insulin response, it'll never come back down. Also, there is not a large insulin response. The impact of dairy milk is not consistent with high insulin resistance either, which is kind of what these people typically fear monger you based on. Is they'll say like, oh, you have higher insulin response, with more insulin comes more insulin resistance. That's not true. And 2, we have actually seen research that supports the opposite of this. We have actually seen that dairy reduces prevalence of insulin resistance, assuming that calories are equated. However, of course, if the diet is high in dairy, but also high in calories, so you're over consuming your calories, it can definitely lead to insulin resistance.
Number 3 are artificial creamers. These are also called non-dairy creamers. Sometimes they contain casein, which can...
Non-dairy creamers, is that a joke? Casein is a slow digesting protein, also a part of milk protein, which, by the way, when you break down the milk into whey, it's broken down into 2 complete proteins, whey and casein, which is casein is a slower digesting protein.
can be a high insulin response protein.
High insulin response. There would be such a low insulin response, and again, such an irrelevant point. Because casein is so slow digesting, there would be little to no insulin response.
Also, these creamers sometimes contain toxic inflammatory vegetable oils.
Vegetable oils are not toxic or inflammatory. Those are 2 buzzwords that he is now using. I have refuted this in many videos in the past.
Are chemical sweeteners such as aspartame, sucralose, Splenda. Science is clear. These are not healthy for your gut, not healthy for your brain. And
He's always produced a claim, but he's never produced the data to support this claim. Absolutely fine, absolutely healthy for you. I've yet to find a scientific piece of literature that shows that aspartame or sucralose or any other form of sweetener is bad for your gut.
also can create an insulin response in some individuals.
Yes, if it is a sweetener that has any carbohydrates, it will create an insulin response. Insulin responses are normal, but he's just repeating the same thing that other people online are repeating. Congratulations, you're an idiot, and so is everyone else.
So here's what I put in my coffee.
So here's what he'll put in his coffee. Great. He's gonna show us what we should put in our coffee instead.
I put some grass-fed butter.
It's important that he said grass-fed, because his butter that comes from his cow, which is dairy, might I add. Little ironic, isn't it? So yeah, let's overconsume calories, because that stick of butter that you're putting in there is like 700 calories instead of the 50 to 150 max calories that you're putting in with creamer. Like, come on, dude.
Put a little bit of some MCT oil.
With a little MCT oil. Nice. Not really much literature to support anything around MCT oils, but congrats. At least you put that in. At least you're consistent with your scientific lack of literacy.
And some sea salt.
And some sea salt. Good. Well, that was fun. Follow for more.